G'day mates, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm doing a massively requested video. You guys always ask me, Aussie, what is the best keyboard for Fortnite? Because if you guys know or don't know, I buy a lot of keyboards. Just for today's video, I've bought 4 of the most popular keyboards so I can compare all of them and give you the answer on which one is the best. And now don't worry, it doesn't matter what price range you're in. I've bought keyboards that range from $60 all the way up to $200 to make sure that depending on what you want to spend, you're getting the best keyboard. Because that's the question. It's a $200 keyboard, but is it worth that much more than the $60? And that's what I'm going to break down today, because I've seen a lot of these videos around, but a lot of them are just 10-minute in-depth videos on one keyboard. They don't directly compare them, and I also don't want to go super in-depth on the tech side of things. I'll explain it a little bit to make sure that you're keeping up with what is the reason why they're better, but I'm not just going to go on 10-minute rants about the switches and how they compare to each other. So, the 4 main keyboards that I'm comparing, which ones are they? Just quickly before we jump into today's video, guys, I have to make this very clear. This is not sponsored at all. I've went out and bought all of these and spent almost $500 on these keyboards, so please chuck a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section down below if you own any of these, if you're gonna buy any of them. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, and I hope you enjoy the video. The 4 keyboards I'm gonna be comparing today are the GK61, the Razer Huntsman Mini, the Ducky One Mini, and the SteelSeries Apex Pro. Now, as far as pricing goes, I'm going to have the links in the description down below for where you can buy all of these. The GK61 is about 65 USD. The Ducky One Mini is about 124 USD. The Razer Huntsman Mini is about 119 USD, so they're very similar. And then you have the SteelSeries Apex Pro, by far the most expensive, at 200 USD. Before I get into all the tech side of things and comparing the different switches in each of them, let me just give you a base summary of my initial thoughts on all of them. The GK61 absolutely blew me away and astounded me at how good that keyboard is for the price. It feels smooth. The keycaps are a little bit rattly. There's a little bit of friction, but again, for a $65 keyboard, because of the optical switches, it just feels so fast and so responsive. If you're someone who's struggling for money and you've thought about, is it worth getting a nicer mechanical keyboard, you're playing on a membrane keyboard or maybe just a basic one, I would really try to get this if you can. $60 something, and it is so insanely worth it. I don't think I've ever heard a single person say they bought the GK61 and regretted it. Stepping it up to the Ducky One Mini. Now, this one for me is unfortunately the one that I do think let me down a little bit. It looks really, really clean. The RGB is so nice. The aesthetic of the keyboard is beautiful. But for the price tag, it's just really not worth it. It doesn't even have optical switches, and again, I'll talk about what they are in a little bit. For just regular Cherry MX switches and for a 60% keyboard, I don't really think it warrants the price tag of $120. The keycaps did feel pretty much similar amount of friction as the GK61. They had less rattle, but again, I'm paying almost double the price, and you're most definitely not getting double the quality. Stepping it up to the Razer Huntsman Mini, this keyboard is so incredibly clean. If I have one complaint about it, it's the fact that the RGB really is just lacking, and the Razer Synapse, the program you need to download to make it work or to change around the RGB and really customize it, is just one of the worst programs I've ever downloaded for a keyboard. It started messing with all the lights inside my computer. It started changing all my audio devices. It just was a really annoying program to have on my PC. Other than that though, the keyboard, as far as how it feels and how it works, is amazing. It has optical red switches, what I got in it, insanely fast, ridiculously responsive, so fast even that I almost can't use it as someone who fat fingers their keys a lot, and I'll talk about that in a second when I talk about the next keyboard. But overall, it is a really nice keyboard, and I can 100% see why this is what most pros are getting if they're not stepping it up to spend the big bucks for the SteelSeries Apex Pro. Now, the SteelSeries Apex Pro, the big boy, $200. Pretty much the most expensive keyboard that you can buy out of the box that's not customized. Is it worth it? Yes. It really is. And this is coming from somebody who, when I first heard about it, said it was a gimmick, just said it wasn't worth it. Why would it be $200? Because if you don't know how the SteelSeries Apex Pro works, or the main reason why so many pros have it, why it is probably the most used keyboard by top tier pros, again, Mongrel, Metro, Benji Fishy, Mr. Fresh Asian, I think Vidil, Noah Riley, just so many insane Fortnite players use this keyboard. It's because you can actually customize the actuation point of the keys. I'll talk about that a little bit more later. later, but basically you can customize how fast the keys are, whether you want to press them really hard to make them activate or press them really, really softly. Now, you can do that for every single key. And I know what you're thinking, why, Aussie? Like, why is that important? And that's what I thought as well. But someone like me, who, for example, rests their thumb on their keyboard on the spacebar, but then I press C, X, and V and those keys with the tip of my thumb, and a lot of those are my builds, the spacebar on the Razer Huntsman Mini or the GK61, I would press it all the time accidentally. I would always rest on it and press it and fat finger, and I would jump when I didn't try to. This keyboard, I can set the spacebar to be really, really heavy, so I have to press it hard, but then I can set all my build keys to be a little bit faster. And I've even set my edit key to be as fast as you can possibly go, which is faster than any of the other keyboards here today. So I can then have it for keys like my edit that I need to press really, really fast because I use double edit. I don't have confirm edit on release. So if I'm hitting edits, I need to press it twice in really fast succession. I can do that, but then I can have other things like my spacebar, like my tab key, things that I don't want to press accidentally, way heavier. And I genuinely think that feature is insane. And even if you're not going to set individual keys like I do, if you're watching this video and you have the money to spend, but you just don't know what you like in a keyboard, you don't know if you want it fast, you don't know if you want it slow, you can find out. You can buy the keyboard, download the software, and you can change it and play around with it. Try it really, really fast. Oh, it's too fast. Make it a little bit slower. You can do all of that. Now, I know you tech buffs out there are thinking, Aussie, what switches did you get in the keyboard? What makes the main difference? So, for those of you who don't know what a switch is, the switch is basically the mechanism that's underneath the key that registers the key press when you press it down. It's the main thing that changes these keyboards. Now, exactly what switch you want is usually all personal preference. The main switches that most pros get in Fortnite are linears because they want them to be really fast. They want to press it in and they want it to come back quickly, and they don't want to feel any bump during it like a tactile switch, and they don't really want heavy springs like a clicky switch. Some people do, but that's like a general thing. For me, for the sake of this video, I got them all with as similar switches as possible. I had linear optical reds in the GK61. I had cherry MX reds in the Ducky One Mini. I had linear optical reds again in the Huntsman Mini, and then omnipoint adjustable in the Steel series. So as far as the switches go, I got them as similar as you possibly can to make sure that today was a fair comparison. The main differences between the switches being the fact that the Ducky One Mini comes with just basic regular cherry MX reds. They are not optical switches. The optical switch refers to the fact of what the GK61 and the Razer Huntsman Mini have, where there's actually a laser beam that when the switch goes down through it, it activates the key press because it disrupts that laser beam, and the keyboard registers that the key press should activate. So it means that it's even faster, it's even more sensitive, and in a game like Fortnite where you need to smash out your keybinds as quickly as possible, that really is becoming the preference. The Razer Huntsman Mini also comes with clicky switches. Again, all of these keyboards, you can get lots of different switches in them, but that's all preference. So I can't break down all of them. I'm just talking about if you have as similar switches as you can get in them, which one is better. Now, the Razer Huntsman Mini has an activation point of 1mm, meaning you only have to press it down 1mm to get it to activate. The fastest of all these keyboards is the Steel Series Apex Pro. It has 0.4mm. That is ridiculous. Literally, you feather your finger over the key and it's gonna activate. So much so that, like I said, I've got my edit key as fast as I can at 0.4mm, where some of my other binds I have upwards of 2 to 3mm because I don't want to fat finger them as much. And that's the problem I was having with the GK61 and the Razer Huntsman Mini. They were too fast, but remember, I'm a 27-year-old commentator. I'm a boomer out here. Most people don't have that problem. Most of you guys are insanely fast with your fingers on the keyboard. You guys are very, very precise with it. You have nuts mechanics, so you probably won't have that same issue as I have. But just know they're all really, really fast, but you really do want, in this day and age for Fortnite, to start moving towards having an optical switch. It's just so much more responsive. The main thing I need to stress when it comes to the keyboards is they're all preference. You guys have heard me say that plenty of times. Some people are going to turn around in the comment section and tell me they love their Ducky One Mini, they think it's the greatest keyboard ever, or they tried the Steel Series Apex Pro, didn't like it at all, and went back to a GK61 or something. I get that. I do really get its preference. But the main thing I can get through to you, if you don't know which keyboard you want or you don't know what switches you want, there's plenty of websites, I'll link some in the description down below, where you can actually buy switch testers that are way cheaper cheaper that will come with a variety of switches. You can press them and see how they feel. The main problem for me is that doesn't help you so much when you actually jump into Fortnite and start editing. For example, if I got a switch tester and I started feeling the switches and I thought, hey man, these linear optical reds feel amazing, they're so fast, and then my keyboard arrived, like what happens, and then I go into creative and I try to edit and I can't stop jumping. These are things you're not going to realize until you really buy a keyboard, and that's where my vouch for the SteelSeries Apex Pro goes, because you can change all that on the fly without having to buy another keyboard. The other thing that I would mention as well is I'm going to make a video in the next few days where I'm actually building my own custom mechanical keyboards. I've ordered a whole bunch of parts. I've really gone down the rabbit hole here, but I'm going to show you some tips where for $10, $15, you could take apart a GK61 or a Razer Huntsman Mini and you can massively improve them by just doing a few simple steps like adding stabilizers or lubing the housing and all that kind of stuff. So that'll be coming soon as well, which will make even a keyboard you've already bought feel so much better. So before you maybe jump off and buy one of these, you can wait around for that video as well, but it's genuinely preference on what you like. I just wanted to compare them on face value for their main differences when it came to playing Fortnite. The GK61, insanely fast. I do think the Razer Huntsman Mini, even though it has the exact same switch, feels so much faster because it does have that lubing base from the factory, and also the keycaps just feel a little bit smoother. It feels like it has been built a little bit more substantially than the GK61. Obviously the Ducky, again, like I said, unfortunately I really have to just write that one off as the keyboard that's just not worth the price you pay for it. I think they were one of the main keyboards to first jump into this 60% genre where everyone wanted small keyboards that looked nice, and now there's other people moving onto the market, like you have Razer Huntsman Mini. I know HyperX is bringing out a 60% keyboard that isn't the limited edition Ducky, so there's other contenders in the market, and honestly they're just doing it better. As far as the SteelSeries Apex Pro, if you've got $200 to spend and you really want to make sure you get the best keyboard, I guarantee you won't regret it. There's even other features I haven't talked about. It has volume control. It even has a little screen on it where you can put GIFs or you can put videos on it if you really wanted to as well. So there are so many extra features, but the main ones being the customization, you really can't go past it. Even if you're a student, you can set up different profiles so that you can have a really fast keyboard for gaming, open up the program, you can then change it to a different setting, and you can have heavier keys so when you're typing up essays, you're not spam typing as fast as you can on the gaming keyboard. It's just, you can't beat the customization aspect. Now remember guys, these are all just my general thoughts. Take it with a grain of salt. You might disagree with some of them. Again, maybe you just straight up like clicky switches more than linear, but all my thoughts still apply depending on whatever switch you get and whatever keyboard you like. They still do apply because all of them have the different options, but I just wanted to give my first impressions without going into 20-minute videos on every single keyboard so you can maybe be helped to make an informed decision, because there could be some things that are just about these keyboards that you didn't realize until you bought them, like me, that just completely ride them off. I am using the SteelSeries Apex Pro. If you can't tell, that is my go-to keyboard. It is more expensive. It is worth the price, but if you get the GK61 or the Razer Huntsman Mini, you will not be disappointed at all. You have got beautiful keyboards and you'll be very happy. Now, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please chuck a like on it. Let me know in the comment section down below which keyboard you're using, if you're going to pick any of these up. Remember, all the links are in the description down below if you want to buy them. None of this was sponsored. I've spent my cold hard cash on all these keyboards, and I just wanted to help you guys out and make the best informed decision. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It would mean the world to me. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.